Android development video number 6. This one's looking at some basic things again, just a continuation on our project of adding images to our buttons, or adding drawables in general to the application, to Eclipse. Building a refresh function so that our page, our view, when it loads, straight away refreshes the scores, and we can call that whenever we want to refresh the output on the screen, and adding a text input name instead of using your, and that's just because I've realized that we haven't used an input, we haven't used a get text yet, and it's a useful skill for you to see demonstrated, and once you've seen it once you can apply it many times, so that's probably something useful. And because we're building a refresh function, we can have it that whenever it runs, it grabs the text and puts it in, and later on when we load or send to and from a website, we'll use that name as an identifier for like a high scoreboard or something like that. So something fairly easy. Okay, so we'll go through quickly adding images to our buttons. So basically Android use drawables, which can be JPEGs, PNGs or GIFs, and you see here in your resources folder, your res folder, that you've got drawable high definition, drawable low definition, medium definition, and extra high definition. So you've got your different drawable types. For a bit more information about that, check out the developer.android.com website and read a bit about the drawable things, or have a chat in class, ask some questions. What we're going to do here is create a new folder just to put in kind of generic drawable image files. So what we'll do is we'll just create the folder called drawable. Now it's all lowercase, and it is you know, sensitive. It does have to be drawable. You can create resource folders with your own resources in them, but Eclipse doesn't do that great a job of managing them when you do that. So anyway, what we've done is we've created this drawable folder, and what we're going to do is we're going to get Eclipse to actually create the files themselves. So what you can see is if you double click on one, you see that, oh this is weird, but the reason that you can use this IC launcher or the IC action is because Eclipse has actually already generated the XML that links and says this is a resource for the project. And to get it to do that, you can create it yourself without any problem, and you can create it and put it in your values folder, but it's easier just to get Eclipse to do it. So the way we do that is if you minimize and grab these 3 images. These are available in the Dropbox folder. Actually, we'll just grab them one at a time. Is you copy, and then you go to Eclipse and click on the drawable folder and you paste. And what this does is you can see it straight away builds. It puts that image in, but it also makes it available as a resource. So when we go to our properties for something, and we want to set its drawable, preference, its drawable whatever, drawable padding, drawable right, drawable top, whatever. I'm just going to set it as drawable bottom. We can see that in here is our image, okay, and it pops up straight away. Now if you have problems, just try using a different image, and it's also very important that these images don't have capital letters, special characters, spaces, or anything like that in the file name. So the simpler the file name, the better. I think you can use dash and underscores, but you just try and avoid as much ambiguity as you can. So we'll just go for scissors, and you can see straight away it applies that image. Okay, so I'm just going to grab those 2 other images and do exactly the same thing with them. So minimize out, I'll grab the paper one, copy, and back to Eclipse, and in my drawable folder, paste, and then I'll grab the rock one and copy, and back to Eclipse and paste. Now you can do, of course, you can try more than once, more than one at a time, and if it fails, just go back and kind of give it another shot. But you know, it was fine for me in this instance to just do them one at a time. So paper, and I'm going to push everything off the screen, so I'm going to have to start to muck around with layouts soon. So we'll just have to have a bit of a quick play with that in a minute. Now you can resize your pictures as well, but for now it's probably easier just to change the layouts. So what I'll do is just change it. So you can see here I've got a linear layout. I'm just going to drop another layout in there, and I'll drop my linear layout horizontal into this top one, and then I can drop my paper. Oh, I've done something wrong there. I'll just edit and undo move widgets, and I might just arrange them from up in here. So I'll just put, oops, just drop them in here. Paper and scissors, and then I'll just do the same thing again down here. So I have rock and then results. So I'll drop in a linear layout horizontal into here, and again I just rearrange it up here just to avoid some weird errors. Okay, so this actually would get confusing, but I'm going to put in another vertical layout into this right hand side so that I can stack all my text areas. So you see how we kind of get, you build up kind of a hierarchy of layouts, and how it can make sense to have them like this. So now we've got our paper, scissors, rock buttons, and we've got kind of our results, wins, losses, draws, and then reset scores. And right down the bottom here I might just put in our enter name. So I'll just drop in a text field, and I'm just going to choose the plain text. So you've also got the person name one, which has some predefined, actually we can use it, we just might get some, we just have to do some customizing, but we'll just drop in the person name one there. So right down the bottom, and just have to give it an ID. So we'll call it TXT. Actually, this isn't a text area, this is an edit text, so I'll call it eTXT, edit text, and name. And then it's got input type text person name, and you can set kind of like the formatting that you want on that, but I'm going to leave that blank. Instead what I'm going to do is change the hint, and so the hint shows up, it's kind of like the placeholder text that you see in web forms, and so the hint you can set again with a string. So I'm going to set a string, and the string will be enter your name, and the string can just be string name. So this, okay, and you see it kind of shows up grey there. The good thing about it is that using a hint as opposed to using a value. So when you click on this, you could set the hint or the value. Oops. You could set the hint or the text. Sorry, if you set the text, it becomes something kind of accessible. If you set the hint, you can still, the text will automatically override it, which is good. You know, it's a really good thing.